Hello everyone, another pretty choppy day right at the level of resistance on the SPY here. So this video should be a bit quicker than normal, not much to look at, nothing new really. So we're going to take a look at the usual suspects, the SPY, the NASDAQ, the Russell, the dollar, the bonds, and the VIX. All right, so without further ado, let's get started with the video. So starting off with the dollar, we know that the dollar has an inverse relationship to the market. If the dollar rises, then that's generally bearish for the market. And what we're seeing continued on the dollar is this rising wedge pattern continuing to play out. So we came back and tested this lower level really perfectly. We ended up making new lows. And what I'm expecting is if we fall down to this 102.40, maybe even the 102.35 area down here, this could set us up for a nice little bounce to the upside. And if we do get a bounce to the upside in one of these days, either towards the end of the week or next week, this is most likely going to be bearish for the market. All right. So currently the dollar is continuing to play out for this very bullish pattern that is transpiring. So the VIX is a bit more interesting currently. As we know, it also has an inverse relationship to the market. If the VIX is rising, then that is bearish for the market. And as you can see, we had a big wick intraday. And what's going on is specifically on the MACD indicator, what you see is that it is curling up. So this slower MACD level, this orange line is moving upwards, and it shows that momentum is starting to be bullish, right? So slow MACD line moving upwards means that momentum is starting to shift bullish. As this is shifting bullish, obviously this is bullish for the VIX. If things are bullish for the VIX, then that is bearish. So that is another thing to take into consideration here, alongside this MACD. So here's a chart of TLT. So TLT is also had a bit of a green day. We are still having trouble at this 9160, 9170 area of resistance for TLT. When we look at the yields also made another new low, similar to the dollar. We came back inside of this falling wedge on the yields, and we know that the yields also have an inverse relationship to the market. If the yields are rising, then that is bearish for the overall market. So, similar to the dollar, how I was saying maybe a bit lower on the dollar, it could lead to a bit of a bounce. Same concept on the yields. So if we get a bit lower to this trend line, a bit lower here, that would set it up for a nice potential nice bounce on the yields. And if we get a bounce on the yields, then that is bearish for the overall market. So the other main important thing is that we have GDP numbers coming out tomorrow morning, pre-market at 8:30 a.m. And then Fed Powell is speaking on Friday. So those are the two main things happening this week. We have one of those things tomorrow morning. And then the end of the week, this could, potentially be a turning point in the market. So currently what we're seeing on equities obviously is really bullish move today, right? Intraday we had a big bullish move and then we staircased down. If you were looking at the overall feel of the market, it was a slow, controlled move down throughout the day after we made that high. And what that is essentially basically telling me is that they're trying to really control which direction the market goes right now. But our main instance of understanding right now is the dollar, the VIX, and the yields still have a bit lower to go. Specifically, the dollar and the yield, they can still fall a bit lower. And because they have an inverse relationship to the market, that would mean that the SPY can remain flat or be bullish until the dollar and the yields bounce. So that's, and it's important to see that regardless of how bearish and how lower the dollar and the yields have been falling, the market has not responded that bullishly, right? Because before, when the correlation was much more comfortably opposite, right? If the yields had a red day, the market had a nice green day. If the dollar had a red day, the market had a nice green day. We're not seeing that. It's still very flat in terms of price action, and in terms of the percentage gain that we're getting for the market in general. So this is, a really unfortunate price action. They're just really trying to control they're trying to control the explosive moves in both directions, in my opinion. And they're trying to squeeze premiums as best as they can. Um, and the other, and when you look at this on a monthly chart, the chart of the SPY on a month, we had a monstrous month. We had an 8.7% month, and clearly, right, when you have a month like this, obviously the next month is also should be bullish. But in the short term, after a month like this, there needs to be some sort of a pullback. The fact that we're not getting that, even if we come back and retest, if we were to take this, um, the fib level, lows to the highs, dropping down to at least even the 23.6% fib would bring us down to 447. Even if we don't get down to 447.50, right? Should get a bit of a pullback to at least 450, because getting a retest to the 23.6 is considered still healthy. We could still come back and retest this, or the 38.2. We could retest both of these and still continue to go up into the next month. So it's just really interesting to see that haven't gotten that yet. So now, it's just a matter of time. We have to see which direction things go. The dollar and the yields are still showing that we could have some more room to the downside, which would be bullish for the market. But until those things start to really bounce, also it's a bearish sign that the VIX is starting to become with bullish momentum. Overall, longer we're up here, if we end up going a bit higher, those would still be nice, safer, shorter opportunities. That's continuing to be what I see in the market. All right, so regardless, nice, short, and sweet video. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Thank you.